What if I told you the man who conquered Britain, Rome's most stubborn enemy, wasn't a general, wasn't even a soldier, but a man who limped, stuttered, and was laughed at by his own family? This is the untold story of how the empire's biggest joke became one of its most unlikely conquerors. This is the story of Claudius. You've heard of Julius Caesar. You've heard of Augustus. But Claudius? He was never supposed to wear the purple. Born disabled, hidden from the public eye. Yet he did what even Julius Caesar failed to do. He brought Britain under Roman rule. How? Let's find out. Claudius was born in 10 BCE into the prestigious Julio-Claudian dynasty. He was the nephew of Emperor Tiberius and the grandson of Mark Antony. But from a young age he was dismissed. Why? Because of his physical disabilities. He walked with a limp. His speech was slurred. Historians describe him as awkward, twitchy, and often drooling. In Roman society, obsessed with strength and perfection, Claudius was a source of embarrassment. Even his own mother reportedly called him a monster. He was kept away from public life, not seen as a threat, not seen as useful. But Claudius had something no one expected: a mind sharper than any sword. While others ignored him, Claudius dove into books. He became a historian, a scholar, and an expert on Etruscan and Carthaginian history. He learned how politics worked by watching, in silence. For decades, he observed the chaos of Rome from the shadows. He survived purges, poisonings, and paranoia simply because no one took him seriously. That was his greatest strength. Then, in 41 CE, something unthinkable happened. The Emperor Caligula was assassinated by his own guards. In the chaos, Claudius hid behind a curtain in the palace, terrified. But a soldier found him, trembling, expecting death. Instead, they bowed. The Praetorian Guard declared him the new emperor. Why Claudius? Because he seemed weak, easy to control, a puppet. But they were wrong. From day one, Claudius shocked everyone. He reformed the empire's bureaucracy. He empowered freedmen, former slaves, and put them in positions of real influence. He cracked down on corruption and chaos in the Senate. And then, he looked to Britain. Rome had tried to conquer Britain before. Julius Caesar attempted it twice, and failed both times. The Britons were fierce, tribal, and united under strong chieftains like Caradocus. For Rome, Britain was a frontier of savages, but also of immense resources: tin, grain, slaves. Claudius saw opportunity. In 43 CE, he ordered the invasion. 40,000 Roman troops crossed the Channel. The fighting was brutal: wet marshes, dense forests, ambushes, guerrilla resistance. After months of battle, the Romans reached the Thames. Victory was close, but not certain. So Claudius did something no emperor had ever done. He went to the front. Despite his disabilities, despite his age, Claudius rode into Britain, not just as emperor, but as a conqueror. With elephants, war machines, and spectacle, he arrived to seal the victory. The Britons were stunned. Their cities surrendered. Rome declared triumph. Claudius had done what Caesar couldn't. He stayed in Britain for just 16 days. But that was enough. When Claudius returned to Rome, he was celebrated as a hero. A triumph was held. Arches were built in his name. He became known as Imperator Britannicus, the conqueror of Britain. But his legacy didn't stop there. He expanded the empire into North Africa and the Balkans. He built aqueducts, reformed the legal system, and improved infrastructure. Under his rule, Rome grew richer, stronger, and more stable. Politics in Rome was deadly. Claudius's wife, Messalina, betrayed him in a scandalous plot. She was executed. Later, Claudius married Agrippina the Younger, who had one goal: to place her son, Nero, on the throne. In 54 CE, Claudius died, possibly poisoned by Agrippina. Claudius ruled for 13 years, and though history often forgets him behind the shadows of Augustus or Nero, he was one of Rome's most effective rulers. He proved that strength doesn't always come from muscle or voice. Sometimes it comes from being underestimated, from watching, from waiting, from turning weakness into strategy. If you enjoyed this dive into Claudius's journey, hit that like button and subscribe for more epic stories from history's forgotten legends. Who should we cover next? Let me know in the comments. From the shadows of the palace to the conquest of Britain, Claudius showed the world, you don't need to look like a warrior to change the course of history.